Segundo o relatório da ONU de 1987, a solução para problemas relacionados ao desenvolvimento humano surgiria do que foi chamado desenvolvimento sustentável, definido como um processo que satisfaz as necessidades das gerações atuais, sem, no entanto, comprometer as condições das futuras gerações. Apesar da vaga definição, este termo contribuiu para muitas reflexões, e a partir delas surge o conceito de agricultura sustentável.
I don't happen to define sustainable agriculture in terms of a specific set of practices. Now if people just adopt those, we'll be okay.
I think a sustainable agriculture is one that can be continued for the indefinite future, forever if you like.
So there are a variety of ways, I think, to do that. And I think what it will require is that we look at sustaining agriculture within ecosystems. In industrial agriculture, we've created a system that has production and waste. And so we get rid of the waste and we develop the production. Well, in nature, there's no waste because everything in nature becomes food for something else in the system. And so we have to start thinking about agriculture systems that mimic that. There's no global ecosystem, there are only local ecosystems, and every local ecosystem is different and is going to require its own approach.
I came to agriculture more out of an interest of nature, so I began looking into models in nature.
And that's how we also got into the dairy. Some of those customers from the beef and the chicken and eggs said, well, I'd really like to get some fresh milk. Why don't you start milking a cow? And so we did. So the kind of farming we do is, it's very customer driven, it's very demand driven.
Simply our customers wanted eggs and they wanted them raised on pasture, and we thought, well, that's something we could do. And ecologically, I think laying flock works well with a herd of cattle. They intermingle with the cattle and they scratch the cow pads, and they interact in the pasture nicely. Seems like there's some kind of synergy.
The three-legged stool of sustainable farming. For it to be sustainable, it has to be economically sustainable, it has to be socially sustainable, and environmentally sustainable.
If the social part of the community is not healthy, and eventually the economic part of it can't be healthy. That's, I think, part of the great thing about our analysis in sustainable agriculture, the three components. And then the ecological health, that's more the long term. Even if a community has good economic returns and healthy societies, but they're deteriorating their soil, then at some point that's not going to work anymore, and so then their long-term sustainability again is jeopardized. More farmers, and mostly smaller farmers, going into direct marketing, so they produce the products, prepare them, deliver them, bring them into the marketplace, and sell them directly to food customers.
It feels wonderful being a farmer and knowing where your food is going and seeing the people that consume it, and you have that direct relationship. We're still learning, but I also always want there to be an educational component to this farm. Somehow I want it to be a model of a progressive type of agriculture.
We're excited to visit Shadowbrook Farm today. We're bringing our preschoolers out, and the reason we chose to come here is because a lot of children raised in the city now don't experience a whole lot of nature, so we're excited they get to see goats, chickens, turkeys. They're going to see huge gardens, trees, just open spaces.
So I fell into this idea of organic agriculture is a very meaningful thing. The simple fact that we depend upon agriculture to support our culture.
If you have sustainable agriculture, you're growing diverse crops too. So if you have have a loss of one crop, there's other crops that you can rely on.
As time went by, we followed that trend somewhat to more specialized farming, more row crop intensive. The small grains went out of the mix. But now with our interest towards returning to fewer chemicals, organic production, or at least a portion of our acreage, I can see where we're wanting to trend back towards some small grains. We are doing the alfalfa to transition in, so I can see more of a tie-in again with livestock, forage crops and small grains, returning to that mix. Corn, soybeans. Time is teaching us that maybe that isn't the best thing for the soil or that type of farming, maybe even socially for our family.
You know, nature has its resilience by virtue of its diversity. It's the interdependence of diversities of species that provides for the self-renewing capacity.
It has to have an equity of distribution of benefits that benefit enough people in the society that they will continue to recognize that agriculture is important.
When Kenny and I got married and moved up here, we bought cattle. We bought commercial cattle, and after selling 2 calf crops, we decided that that really was not a sufficient income. So we went different routes. We researched and decided on different avenues. When we started raising miniature Hereford cattle, there were only about 20 breeders of miniature Herefords in the whole world.
People are looking for a naturally fed, came from the ranch type animal, and they're willing to pay a pretty good premium for this meat, and so it's going to be a huge thing for the miniature Hereford. Our market is actually growing faster than the herd is expanding.